cops. I love the police. 3%. Want to know why I only took 3% of this population to the British's motherfucking ass? We whooped their fucking ass. The British were a bunch of tyrants that thought they ran this country and that thought that they could tax us, take our weapon, do whatever they wanted at a whim. We said, you know what? Fuck that. We're not dealing with that shit.
That's right.
We might not be perfect. Exactly.
That was a 3% tax, right?
3%.
What are we at now? 10 times that.
We dumped some tea in the river for 3% tax on tea. We're up to 30-40% tax. That's why these people are here. Our founding fathers would be ashamed. Even Martin Luther King Jr. would be ashamed about what we're putting up with in this country. Hey, I'm not perfect. Josh ain't perfect. Lisa ain't perfect. But guess what? We're not sitting here. Lisa is perfect. I'm sorry. Lisa is perfect. Right? She's 29 years old. Any awesome, very well-built 3%ers that want to take a real whistleblower. Unfortunately, this thing is there's no man that could really even handle her because she's more masculine than most of the men because she's out there. Honestly, like you're on the front lines. You're on the front lines.
Hey guys, okay, so today we're going to be tackling this claim that only 3% of Americans fought in the American Revolution, as Will brought up in his video. Now, we all know Will is, all for these conspiracy theories, and I think we can all agree that conspiracy theories always spout from some grain of truth, and they usually take them into right or left field, wherever they're going with it, and it's usually, wrong, but they usually all start from some grain of truth. So, the 3%, here we go. And I'll go ahead and post the article in the description if you guys want to read the whole thing. So it says, this 3% myth is born out of the claim that only 80,000 people served in the Continental Army and militia during the war. With the 1780 population estimated at 2,780,369, that gives us 2.96% of the country serving in George Washington's army. Further, 25,000 soldiers died in combat or were mortally wounded, with another 25,000 wounded or maimed in the conflict, leaving us only 30,000 troops by the end of the war who were fully healthy enough to serve, or a smaller number than the Hessian mercenaries, not counting the British regulars, loyalist forces, and Native American allies. It is a wonder that the British quit, given their overwhelming odds and the finding by Conway that British forces numbered 500,000 in their army and navy by the 1780s. Something might not be right about those American numbers. It turns out that the 80,000 number bandied about was a number of pension files and bounty land warrant applications. It doesn't include all in the Continental Army, militia, or other units, or those who served but didn't file for a pension or bounty land warrant application. Historian John Furling finds that the Continental Army size was actually 100,000, not counting the militia, probably twice that number soldiered as militiamen, for the most part defending the home front, functioning as a police force, and occasionally engaging in enemy surveillance, in addition to supplementing the Continental Army for stretches. John K. Robertson looks at this very issue of militia size in the Journal of the American Revolution in 2016, in his article, Decoding Connecticut Militia 1739 to 1783, Robertson finds that in May of 1774, the Connecticut state legislature created 17th and 18th regiments. At the time, the state's population was 191,392. White males, females, and children, no word on the non-white population was listed. Of these, 26,260 were in the militia, which meant 13% of the population. And that estimate is very likely much too low for how many Connecticut militia were there, for several reasons. First of all, lacking a border with the Indian population, the age requirement for Connecticut in 1774 was much lower than other states. The maximum age fell from 60 to 45. Second, during the American Revolution, that maximum age of service rose to 55 in Connecticut. Third, the state expanded their regiments from 18 to 28, which would provide an estimated 14,588 men, estimated by dividing the 1774 regiment size by 18 regiments, multiplying that number by 10 for the new regiments, giving us 40,849 militiamen. Multiply that number by 13 states, and you get 531,035 militiamen. Connecticut was a middle-sized state in the 1790 census. It could be a bit lower, but that figure a lot closer to Robert Allison's numbers, which are 375,000 serving, or almost 15% of the population. That doesn't include the U.S. Navy, State Navies, Continental Marines, 2001 estimate, and the estimated 55,000 who served on American privateers, which gets us from 15% to perhaps as high as 25% of the population. Okay, and it just goes on and on and on. I'll go ahead and link that. So, it makes more sense. Now, I can understand if the 3% one, if it was, let's say, like what happened in Scotland, where, or not Scotland, I'm sorry. Yeah, Scotland. In the battle where they won their independence, they had a much lower number than the British. And if you've seen Braveheart, you know that big old war scene at the end where Mel Gibson gives his big famous speech. That war actually took place on a bridge. It wasn't out and out war like it was depicted in Braveheart. It was on a bridge, and that's the reason the Scottish forces were able to win, because they were able to limit the number of British coming at them, and so the numbers were pretty much null and void. So numbers really do factor into a war, like most generals, most people that are running wars will tell you. But the numbers can be negated by environment, sort of like in World War II, where the Germans came into Russia. They thought, oh, we're going to take them out. But the Russian soldiers, who weren't as good as the German soldiers, just went and hit, and they played the waiting game, and pretty much the weather is what pretty much subdued the Germans. So numbers do matter. And if you know about the American Revolution, that's how we kind of won the American Revolution anyway. We pretty much fought dirty, and that's why we won. We were definitely had fewer soldiers than them, but not as low as soldiers as people that believe this 3% claim. So, like I said, I'll go ahead and link that article if you guys would, if you guys like to read it. And let's talk. If you guys want, tell me what you guys think. Do you think that this is more of a plausibility, or you believe that, like some of these conspiracy theorists, that there's 3%? Because I mean, even if you think about the census, not everybody's listening to the census, just like today, So it's just something to think about, something to discuss. Let me know what you guys think, and see you again.